Look the part, play the part. Yakko sponsors Vanarama National League on BT Sport.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special edition of the Vanarama National League highlight show here on BT Sport. On Saturday, league leaders Lincoln City made the fairy tale trip to the Emirates to face the mighty Arsenal in the FA Cup quarter-finals. It's been over a century since a non-league side made it this far in the competition, and all eyes were on Danny Cowley and his team, whose exploits have done the National League proud. We followed them throughout the build-up to the biggest game of their lives, and we'll show you what happened a little bit later in the show. But first, here's what else is coming up. It hots up at the top as Forest Green falter at Dagenham. Gateshead in the playoff places after record run. And Southport's slump continues as Torquay take the points. Dagenham and Redbridge announced on Saturday that manager John Still had signed a contract extension that would keep him at the club until 2019. The Daggers were looking to leapfrog their opponents, Forest Green, into second place in the table. It was a much anticipated matchup at Victoria Road, and Still's team were almost caught napping. With the whole goal to aim at, Kane Woolery could only hit Daggers skipper Scott Doe. The home side eventually found a foothold in the game. Right back Jake Shepherd unleashing a fearsome strike, tipped over by Rovers keeper Sam Russell. Dagenham were knocking harder and harder on Forest Green's door. Jordan Maguire-Drew's sensational effort cannoned off the crossbar as it remained goalless at the break. Yet just 8 minutes after the interval, Fajiria Calabiri's cross was turned in by Maguire-Drew. 11 goals and a Dagenham shirt for the man on loan from Brighton. Mark Cooper's men are the top scoring side in the division, so it was always going to be a struggle to keep them out. A towering header from leading marksman Christian Doige dragged Forest Green level with 9 minutes to play. But the hosts have made a habit of scoring late winners on home soil. Doe, who cleared off the line earlier in the game, rose highest in the 89th minute. Dagenham are now second in the National League, making their manager a very proud man.
The group of players have far exceeded what I thought was possible this year. Seriously, far exceeded, and they really deserve every credit because they've overcome so many obstacles during the course of this season, overcome unbelievable amount of injuries, overcome disappointing results, overcome disappointing officials' performances where we conceded a goal we thought was a foul, and they just bounce back all the time. And that in itself is a commodity that sometimes you can be short of, but we're not short of that.
Disappointing day, disappointing result. We were well in the game when we got back to 1-1. I felt we had the momentum and could go and win it, but we gave a free kick away that gave them an opportunity to put the ball in the box, and they got a goal. So good luck to Dagenham. Got to give them credit, and we try and bounce back on Tuesday.
A run of 5 wins in succession had launched Gateshead into playoff contention. The division's form side travelled to North Wales to take on a Wrexham team who had lost 1 of their previous 9. There were no big chances until the second half. If a volley from Ollie Shenton had been either side of James Montgomery, it would have surely found the back of the net. Neil Aspin's men had taken 19 points from the last 24 thanks to moments of quality like this. Jordan Burrow's control and finish absolutely superb as Gateshead led 8 minutes after the break. As the clash entered stoppage time, Wrexham were inches away from an equaliser. George Harry's header bouncing back off the bar to the despair of manager Dean Keats. The hosts continued to throw bodies forward and were vulnerable to the counter-attack. An incisive move finding Tom Beer inside the area, and it was left to top scorer Danny Johnson to kill the game off. Gateshead move up into the top 5. No National League team has taken more points in 2017.
I wish you were talking to me and it was the 46th game and we were in the playoffs. It'd be a lovely time to get in, but we moved up to 5th today, but there's a lot of work to do, a lot of hard work to do, a lot of points to go for. Teams will take points of each other, and all I'll say at the moment, we're in the mix with the other teams, and we've got to try and keep going as long as possible.
Both Guiseley and Aldershot arrived at Nethermoor Park in red-hot form. Gary Waddock's side were unbeaten in their last 11 games and began the day a point off the playoffs. But the hosts had won 4 of their last 5 to lift themselves out of the relegation zone. And Adam Lockwood's men were clearly full of confidence. Jordan Preston so unlucky to hit the inside of the post. Aldershot boasted a 100% win record against Guiseley. They were almost in front again when Shamir Fenelon was foiled by a combination of John Maxted and the crossbar. 0-0 at half-time. When the breakthrough came, it was worth the wait. Not much support for Preston when he collected the ball in the centre circle. A superb solo effort, giving Guiseley the advantage. Preston then turned provider for the onrushing Will Hatfield, who was kept out brilliantly by Aldershot's Jake Cole. It was all hands to the pump for Guiseley. Matt McClure rattling the post for Aldershot. Lockwood's players throwing their bodies on the line to protect the lead before Maxted was forced into another save. But the hosts hung on for a third win on the spin, their best ever run at this level.
Two teams with survival on their minds met in the Midlands. It was the visitors Braintree who broke the deadlock against Solihull Moors. Reece Hall-Johnson's free kick evading everyone and finding the back of the net. Hakan Hayretten's side in front after only 6 minutes. Another set piece saw the visitors double their advantage. Michael Cheek on the end of a well-worked routine. Another super season for the man who remains Braintree's top scorer. Solihull was stunned, and as Jack Midsom burst into the area for the away side, Joel Kettle's frustration boiled over and he pulled Midsom back, referee Joe Johnson awarding the penalty. Cheek stepped up to take his tally to 17 for the campaign and put Braintree 3 goals to the good after 23 minutes. Liam MacDonald's men found a route back into the match 3 minutes later when Simeon May headed home his first goal at this level. And Solihull was so close to reducing the deficit further before half-time. Dapo Afolayan twice denied by defender Ian Gale on the line. Afolayan's a former Chelsea trainee. Having signed for Solihull last month, he showed a glimpse of his potential with the goal of the game. Braintree's lead cut to 3-2 with 10 to go. And the comeback was complete. With 4 minutes left, the unmarked George Carline couldn't miss. Solihull rescuing a draw from 3-0 down. How crucial could that goal be for both sides come the end of the season?
The team spirit got us that point. You know, we could have folded with 20 minutes to go, thinking maybe it's not our day, but they've carried on and right till the end, and that's what we're about at the minute. And like I say, for as bad as we were defending first half, we were fantastic going forward second half. So it's a good point. It's a good point.
When you're on your 4th manager of the season in early March, you know the campaign hasn't exactly gone to plan. But Eastleigh Director of Football Richard Hill will hold the reins until the summer. His team hosted playoff-chasing Barrow and were much the brighter in the first 45 minutes, culminating in a superb opening goal from Sam Togwell. Not a bad way to get on the score sheet for the first time in almost a year. Eastleigh were without a win in 2017, a run that looks to have well and truly put paid to any playoff hopes. Hill's team were desperate for a change in fortunes, and it may have come courtesy of Jonathan Flatt. The Barrow goalkeeper had all the time in the world to assess his options, but Flatt cleared the ball straight into veteran striker Matt Tubbs. And on his second debut, on his second loan spell, Tubbs tucked away the second goal of the game to give the hosts some breathing space. Paul Cox's side rallied as Moussa Diarra's header was parried wide by Graham Stack. But it was the hosts who looked more likely to add to the scoreline. Scott Wilson leading the Barrow backline a merry dance before fizzing his shot over the bar. A first victory in 11 matches for Eastleigh.
We're coming into today's game. We've got to win, and it's tough when you've got to win. And playing for Eastleigh, you have to win. We had a good tempo today, and we had a good desire, and we had a lot of heart about our performance today. And every one of the players was brilliant today, as far as I can see.
York boss Gary Mills had some choice words about 3G pitches in the week ahead of his side's trip to Sutton, saying the surface doesn't provide a proper game of football. Nonetheless, he knew his team could edge closer to safety if they secured back-to-back wins for the first time this season. In the first half of little incident, it was the away side who came closest to opening the scoring when forward John Parkin was inches away from his 4th goal in 3 games. Paul Doswell's men came into this one having lost only 1 of their 11 home games so far this season. They eventually broke the deadlock with 15 minutes remaining when Nicky Bailey hit a sweet volley from all of 25 yards. And with just 3 minutes of normal time to play, the host lead was doubled thanks to York defender Sean Newton, who got his back pass to keeper Kyle Leatherin horribly wrong. 2-0 Sutton and surely game over. But moments after conceding, the away team gave themselves a glimmer of hope when Scott Fennick turned in Jan Klikowski's corner. And an astounding comeback was completed deep into injury time when Klikowski expertly planted his free kick beyond the reach of Sutton keeper Will Puddy. A morale-boosting point for York, but they still remain 5 points from safety. They now turn their attention to the 2-leg FA Trophy semi-final against table-topping Lincoln City.
I once played under an exceptional manager that said it only takes a second to score a goal, and we've managed to score 2 in 4 minutes, which is a big point for us. I think anybody, when we went 2-0 down, because we weren't really creating a lot of chances, we thought it was not possible, but it just shows what this game of football is about.
Recent back-to-back wins against relegation rivals Guiseley and Woking had given North Ferriby belief they can extend their stay in the National League to a 2nd season. They look to maintain their positive form at Hayes Lane against a Bromley side who had lost 4 of their last 5. But the visitors' chances took a major blow when they were reduced to 10 men after only 18 minutes. Referee Alan Young deciding a challenge by Taron Hare was worthy of a straight red. Shortly after the incident, the home side moved into the ascendancy and opened the scoring as Bradley Goldberg found himself in space in the North Ferriby box, heading in his first goal since August. Neil Smith's men almost doubled their lead moments before half-time, were it not for Rory Watson's good reflexes to keep out Toby Show-Silver. The hosts had scored just once in their previous 5 games, but they added their 2nd of the day thanks largely to some more calamitous defending. Sam Cosgrove, the culprit on this occasion, as he hooked Joe Anderson's harmless-looking cross into the path of a grateful George Porter, who couldn't miss from a yard out. Bromley then added some gloss to the scoreline when former Arsenal youth player Jordan Winter rifled home his first goal for the club. Defeat means North Ferriby dropped to 23rd and are 5 points from safety with less than 10 games to play. It was a pleasing win for Neil Smith after a difficult few weeks.
You know, after the last couple of weeks that we've had, it was nice to get a win for the supporters who've, you know, been there through all this season, thick and thin. And, you know, we said before the game it'd be nice to just give them something back.
Torquay boss Kevin Nicholson made the brutally honest admission in the week that the club's owners would have been well within their rights to sack him following last weekend's home defeat to Guiseley, which resulted in them dropping into the relegation zone. They faced bottom of the table Southport, who were still looking for their first victory since the sacking of Steve Burr back in January. The home side did win the reverse fixture 2-1 last October and were aiming for their first double over Torquay at the 17th time of asking. They had the best of the early opportunities, but Sean McGinty cleared away Jim Stevenson's goal-bound efforts. The visitors had won just 1 of their last 10, but they did grab the first goal of the day when Luke Young finished well after good work from Dan Sparks down the left side. The hosts got back on level terms moments after the interval when on-loan Dover midfielder Stevenson fired in his first goal for the club. Both sides pressed for a winner, knowing 3 points would be crucial in the fight for survival. First, Brett Williams was denied by an excellent point-blank save from Southport keeper Craig King, before a good stop from Brendan Moore kept out Louis Almond. But it was the away side who scored the all-important winning goal. They broke with pace and intent from a corner, with the ball eventually falling to Rory Keating, who squeezed his shot past King from the tightest of angles. The 3 points takes Torquay out of the drop zone on goal difference. Southport stay bottom of the pile.
To react like we did, to stay strong, to keep going and to keep going into what was the 92nd, 93rd minute. I mean, that's character. That's you know, I asked these lads to show me that they had my back. We had a team meeting last night, and that was the discussion, that we're in it together, we're going to get out of it together, and we'll be better for it. But I needed them to go out and show me a bit of belief and show me that they had me covered, and I think to a man they did that to me for me today.
Woking sat just 2 points above the relegation places at the start of play as manager Gary Hill aims to maintain his record of never being relegated as a manager. They took on a Boreham Wood side with just 1 win from their last 14 games. It was a match low on quality and entertainment on a difficult playing surface at Kingfield, Kane Ferdinand having the best of the chances for the hosts. Luke Garrard's team almost stole the points late on through sub Ricky Shakes, but Chris Arthur did well to clear off the line. Boreham Wood will be hoping they can secure their first win since early January when they host Dover on Tuesday, but the stalemate means Woking drop back into the relegation zone on goal difference.
So Dagenham and Redbridge returned to second place after a huge victory over promotion rivals Forest Green, and Gateshead have moved into the top 5 after recording 6 wins in a row, their best run ever at this level. Aldershot lost ground on the playoff places, but with less than 2 months of the season to go, it's anyone's guess as to who'll be fighting for Football League status. Southport remain rooted to the foot of the table, but York's survival push goes on. Another point gained at Sutton, but Gary Mills' side is still 5 short of safety. Woking drop into the dreaded bottom 4, having played a game more than Torquay, who are just outside the drop zone on goal difference. Lincoln City's incredible run in the FA Cup took them to the Emirates on Saturday to face Premier League giants Arsenal, who are 88 places above them in the pyramid. 9,000 fans travelled to London to support the league leaders in an historic day for the Imps and the National League. Your commentators for this one, Ian Darke and former Lincoln manager Chris Sutton.
Braggett's long diagonal ball aimed accurately to Reid. Picked up by Woodyard. Here's Arnold. And Arnold skipping into the gap here is still Arnold! And check is forced into a fingertip save. Tremendous run by Nathan Arnold. And Lincoln nearly ahead.
Absolutely brilliant from Arnold. Just gets stuck under his feet a little. Good save.
Ramsey this time. Ozil, it was a bit of a miscue, but it's worked in a way. Giroud to play it back again. And Walcott has put Arsenal ahead. There's the breakthrough they were looking for. It arrives in first half stoppage time. And Theo Walcott delivers a goal to silence the Lincoln fans at last.
It's a nice finish. I think it takes a slight deflection off Habergam, does it? Just off his knee. Slightly fortunate.
Ozil in an ominous amount of space maybe on that left-hand side. Giroud missed his kick. Here's Walcott. Bellerin looking for the 1-2 with Sanchez. Bellerin again. Giroud. 2-0 to Arsenal. And that really was a brilliant goal. Well worked. Superbly fashioned and finished, and now Arsenal have clear water.
It was really well worked. Lincoln getting stretched. There's a good little give and go here. Sanchez, Bellerin, see he's well onside. Has the presence of mind, doesn't he? Gets his head up and pulls it back to Giroud, and Giroud gets this one right.
And Arsenal, for all the problems, still could finish in the top 4 and win a trophy this year. Whether that's enough to placate the supporters is quite another matter. Here's Bellerin and Xhaka. Ozil. Big job for Bradley Wood on this side now. That's lovely work. Gibbs cuts it back and it's gone in again. 3-0. It might have come off wall to fall last, but the fact is now that Lincoln have conceded another one, and reality is beginning to crowd in on them here.
You see Arsenal brimming with confidence. Good little run in from Gibbs. Waterfall's unlucky, isn't he? Just comes off his right foot and deflects in. Just hope from Lincoln's point of view they can just keep it together.
There's Alexis Sanchez, Arsenal, I think might expect more. Wood missed his challenge. Sanchez, oh brilliant, brilliant. That's what he can do. 4-0, Arsenal running away with it now, and the form book is being obeyed.
Yeah, Bradley Wood, obviously frustrated, disappointed with himself, missing a tackle against a top player. There's Alexis Sanchez there. It's a lovely finish, isn't it? Measured and just passes the ball, caresses it into that far corner.
Exasperation for Danny Cowley, who did, in the end, think about it and applaud the goal. And of all the people to perpetrate that, it was Ozil. Wood caught out again here by Sanchez. Ozil, Lucas Perez, and this time Wood is able to mop it up. This is hard work for Lincoln now, though. And they've given that one away. It's Alexis Sanchez. Arsenal are going for the jugular. There's going to be another goal here. It's number 5. It's Aaron Ramsey this time. And it's now beginning to go horribly wrong for Lincoln City.
Yeah, they have tired in the second half. Little flick there as the ball pops out there. Woodyard has a look at first, nothing on, and it breaks down. Good little shift from Sanchez, and Ramsey, well, as cool as you like.
Well, after a pretty even Steven first half, Lincoln have just run out of legs here. Although nothing can take away from Lincoln's exploits in this competition this season, which have been quite extraordinary. No time added. Lincoln in the end put out of their misery. A rueful smile from Danny Cowley, but what a cup run from Lincoln. The FA Cup run of the season. A non-league club making the quarter-finals of the FA Cup for the first time in over 100 years.
We'll never be happy when we lose, but I think at some stage we need to be proud of what we've done. This is not a time for criticism. I think this is the time for us to be able to reflect on what we've done in the FA Cup, because it's been a brilliant journey, and the key for us now is to learn from this. We played against world-class players today, and we must learn from this experience and come away better footballers and better people as a result.
I think they were very well organised. They had clarity in their mind of what they wanted to do, and you have to give credit to a manager when he gets that to his team. I observed him after the game, the way he dealt with his players, and I think he has done exceptionally well.
So commiserations to Lincoln City. Their FA Cup fairy tale comes to an end. They bow out at the quarter-final stage after getting beat 5-0 by Arsenal at the Emirates. But what an incredible achievement. And their story continues here on BT Sport. Our next live game in the Vanarama National League is at Sincil Bank as the Imps take on Forest Green Rovers in a top-of-the-table clash. That's on Saturday the 25th of March from 11:45 a.m. on BT Sport 1 and 4K UHD. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Look the part, play the part. Yakko sponsors Vanarama National League on BT Sport.